Hmm. Sorry about that. Hello, everyone. This is Midday with Cassandra, and I am Cassandra Williamson coming to you from Pike County, Kentucky, in a little place called Hardy, which is one of those hee haw towns. From y'all ever watch hee haw from back in the day? Population 200. Hold the sign up. There are no cornfields here, but there are old mines and ATV trails. Anyway, so yes, this is another day, and here we are. We've got lots to talk about and not enough time to do it. And I don't even know if I should just do a jingle or something. Come on. Maybe I could. I can't sing. But there's so much going on that the response to it is kind of muted all across the country. There's just so much. This administration, the Trump administration, has moved fast and broken things with a deliberate, purposeful intent. So I guess that's what you get whenever you have a 4-year gap in between the president's time in office. It's time to think about how to move fast and break things, especially if you have help from the Heritage Foundation. So anyway, there's a lot out here, folks. There's a lot going on in this world today. And the biggest thing that I can do for anyone right now at this point in time is to tell you just to hang on, gird up yourself, take care of yourself. Watch out for your communities where you are, your families. Keep an eye on them. Make sure they're safe and well. And know that most people in this country do not think like the people in the White House or people in the Department of Defense or people in the Veterans Department who are running it now. Most people aren't that, well, I could use a 3-letter word right there, aren't really, yeah. But it's just discouraging at times to see all of these constant attacks. I mean, every day there's something new and more attacks and assaults on transgender people and LGBT people in this country. And for the longest time, years actually now, I've been warning people. They weren't going to stop with just the kids. That was never their end goal. That was a way to get you riled up and pissed off at things. In many cases, rightly so. Yeah, there's some things that's going on with kids that should not be going on. For instance, I can give a couple of things. Like if you're marching down the street in a pride parade and you have nothing on, somebody ought to run over and cover you in paint or something. Cover you up. Cover you up. We don't want to see all that. And I sure don't want to see you have all the children and young people seeing all that stuff either. But you know something, though? The people who were in the audience participating or watching these parades and stuff around the country, they were there deliberately. That's what they wanted to see. They knew they were going to see something like that. And they didn't mind that their kids were there. So the question is then, are we really, really, really libertarian and let people live? Just live and let people live as they decide for themselves without having the influence of the government on top of their head all the time in their doctor's office or in their bedroom or any of that kind of thing. I mean, come on. Who wants the government and all of that? I don't. Really, I don't. So anyway, I'm not going to stay on very long today. I just wanted to go out and do a little short thing and say hi, that there's so much out there right now. I heard something this morning on the local news about somebody one of the states going after birth certificates of trans people and blocking all of that. I don't know what they're going to do with those who have already done it, completed it. What are they going to do? Back up, take away those things as well? No, no, come on. Cruelty seems to be the entire point of all of this. I don't know. Do y'all get that? Do y'all see that too? But I just want you to know that you need to be strong, resilient, do everything you can to protect your own mental health, and be prepared for worse things to come, because they're not letting up, folks. They are going to go after everything you think that they probably wouldn't, including marriage equality. Given an opportunity, this Supreme Court will go after marriage equality. I read an article this morning. It was talking about the strategic failures of organizations like the ACLU and different ones in taking these cases, running it up the flagpole all the way to the Supreme Court, even though we know that this Supreme Court has for years now made it clear that they were going to go after certain things and certain people and certain ideas, certain lives, because they disagree with them. They're trying to tell you that they want to roll it all back to the states. But whenever you give that power back to these states, and it's so desperate across this country, well, you're going to end up with a lot of people who are having all of their rights and liberties rolled back simply because of who they are and who they love. And that's what we are going to see. Well, I know you know that, right? I'm not the only one who sees that. But in this article this morning, they were talking about the strategic failures of the larger organizations that are trying to take all of these cases to the courts, through the court system, and challenging things all the way up. You know the outcome. You know what the likelihood. They were gambling our lives in those arguments. And Chase Strangio, I think that's his name, Chase, when he took this case up with the Tennessee ban on youth gender care, when he argued that before the Supreme Court, he arrogantly assumed that his rationale was logical and would persuade these judges. But you already had an ideological bent towards not having that occur. So they beat him back, pushed back against it, asked questions that he couldn't answer. And if he had been forthright about answering those questions, he may have been able to do something, but no, not at all. The problem was running it all the way up to this Supreme Court. We know the outcome before you even get there, don't we? Oh, goodness. I'm looking at an article right now in The Nation. It's called Samuel Alito Takes Pride in Gay Bashing. Let me just open this one up. It's from The Nation. 6 hours ago by Elie Mystal. Society, in his majority opinion in Mahmoud versus Taylor, Alito gave bigoted parents a big fat kiss and changed the nature of public education. Yeah, that's exactly what he did. Here's the thing. People are entitled to believe what they want. That is for sure. But, the problem is when you start moving those beliefs onto other people's lives when they don't want it. That applies even to kids in school who are hearing things like the LGBT storybook hour and the parents don't approve of it. Those parents have that right. They're wrong to think that, because people who read stuff and hear stuff about LGBT people do not necessarily become LGBT. I mean, if I became everything that I read, I would be, oh my gosh, what would I be? I'll be Captain Kirk or Captain Janeway or let me see, or whomever on Star Trek. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm not, obviously. But anyway, so it's not going to happen. Those kids, if you're raising your kids right, then they are able to look at something and decide for themselves whether or not that's something they wish to read and all this. But what this does, it opens up this religious Pandora's box that gives states the right to impose their theocracy upon the whole of that state. Texas is trying it right now. Actually, they are doing it, where they have ordered every school classroom all the way through college to have the 10 Commandments in it on the wall. They say ostensibly that it's historical, a reference to where this nation came from. But the thing that's missing from that wall, Constitution, Declaration of Independence. Those two weren't mandated. It was just the 10 Commandments. Yeah, you get it. You get the point, right? They're mandating their religious views on the entire country, on the entire state. And there are many people in their state who do not believe in their particular version of religion. There are atheists, there are Muslims, there are nativists, there are Jewish people, and you name it, there are hundreds of different religious beliefs, all with their different coded ways of saying things. And each of them, by the way, do happen to believe that they have a right to impose their beliefs upon you. Most of them do, not all of them. The major ones do anyway. So anyway, like I said, I don't want to stay on here too long. It's kind of depressing, actually, to see everything that's going on these days. All the attacks against our community, the attacks against our rights. But I am thankful to be in Eastern Kentucky, because here people actually let you live and let live. You let live, they let you live too. Okay? It goes both ways. And the old adage that says, love your neighbor as yourself, well, most people around here actually take that to heart. We check on our neighbors. We make sure that they're all right on occasion, not all the time. We make sure everybody's doing well. That's why I'm back here in Kentucky. Make sure everybody's doing well. But the thing is, when you can't love your neighbor, when you don't love your neighbor, then that speaks more about you than it does about your neighbor. See you at 6.